Good evening, all the lovely people present here. I, Swayam Siddha, on behalf of Yogastha, the Wellness Club of IIT Bombay, welcome you all to this session on fitness beyond numbers. Before we move ahead with our session, let's get a small reality check. Your new and cool fitness gadget is there like your shadow and tells you when to sleep, when to wake up, when to eat, and everything that a human is supposed to do. But those beautifully curated fitness stories on social media have motivated you to work towards a body to die for. But your new diet plan has turned you into a Godzilla and left you starved and more irritable like never before. Now your entire math IQ is being used to count calories rather than solving problems. Your weighing scale is shaming you more than your professor does for not doing assignments on time. Jokes apart, but how do you come out of this complicated relationship with your food and the struggles of mind and body? With the correct way, what is the correct way to measure fitness? To answer all your questions, we are lucky to have amongst us India's leading sports science and nutrition expert, Mrs. Rujuta Divekar. She is amongst the most followed nutritionists in the world, and she has been voted as the 50 most popular people in India by People magazine. Her books have sold more than 1 million copies in more than 7 languages. In a career spanning more than 15 years, some of her famous clients are Kareena Kapoor, Anil Ambani, Alia Bhatt, and many more. Without further ado, I request Rujuta ma'am to grace the stage and enlighten us with her wisdom. Please give her a warm welcome with a huge round of applause.
Thank you very much, Swayam Siddha, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you to all of you for coming here on a Monday evening. I'm sure your schedule is packed with many things to do, and I'm actually quite flattered and also amused that I get an invite from IIT Mumbai to come and talk about fitness, because I think if there is one place on earth where you know everything about everything, it should be IIT Mumbai, right? And in spite of that, so did you do this just to indulge me or to just have an evening of little bit of relaxation and recreation and amusement and stuff like that? Since there seems to be no good movie in theaters, you decided to have one inside your college. All right. I think I'll come straight to the point, so I'll talk a bit to you and then I'll take your questions. Does that sound good? Yeah. And we'll leave all the questions for the end of my talk. So if you do have any questions that come to your mind, then do make a note of it. Before I start, I must make a disclaimer that if I sound stupid while I'm talking, it is because everyone who's not in IIT Mumbai is stupid. You guys do know that, right? And you also do know who goes to nutrition colleges. Do you know that? People who don't make it to IIT Mumbai, or the ones who basically don't make it anywhere. So when you don't make enough marks to go to any college or course whatsoever, what you do is you get educated in nutrition and dietetics. So I'm one of those specimens. This is what we look like. All right. So that's my first disclaimer. The second one is, if I do come across as smart, then pat your backs, because my course was actually done in association with IIT Mumbai. So I did my sports science and nutrition from SNDT University, and every Monday I came to IDC. Yeah, so which is within IIT Mumbai. So you can clap already. Yeah. So thank you. So if I come across as smart, it's thanks to you. If I come across as stupid, it's thanks to me. Yeah. So that's step one. And now let's start talking about fitness. First things first, how many of you know how much you weigh? Well, okay. You can join the ranks of stupidity with me then, huh? Because if there is one thing that body weight doesn't tell you, then it doesn't tell you how fat you are or how fit you are. It's a number which measures nothing. It measures nothing other than ये बकरे को कितने पैसे में काट सकते हैं. Because we have something extremely unscientific called as the BMI chart. You're all aware of what is the BMI chart? BMI chart is like putting all human beings into one standard set of program and saying, hey, if you're 5'3", you should be 53. Huh? You've heard of that, right? And then anything more or less than that is a problem, big problem for you, but a huge business opportunity for everyone else. You do know that in every problem lies an opportunity, don't you? Yeah, because most of the emails that I get these days for all kinds of fitness apps that are being made are from people who are from IIT Mumbai. So you're quite smart, and you know, if you do get into that business, do ensure that you never ever let the weighing scale go out of fashion, because it's the easiest way to convert people into bakras. But for now, what you should know is that it's a number which measures nothing. What you all also know is that, how should I put it so to sound scientific? All data must be reproducible, or all errors at least must be reproducible, yes or no? Yeah. So when you measure something, and if you keep the errors constant, then you know that at least what you're measuring is of some value. Is that right? Or no? Yeah, kind of. Right? You get it. You have to dilute your intelligence when you talk to people like me. So what happens is, obviously a weighing scale never gets calibrated, so you don't really know what you measured as 53, and when it turns to 55, you don't even know whether it's 51 or 57, those kind of things. So first things first, if you do want to know how fit you are, stop weighing yourself on the scale, but start weighing yourself on your own 2 feet. And when should you do that? As the last thing in the night. When you stand on your own 2 feet as the last thing in the night, if you're still light on your feet, it means that you have cracked it, you are fit. Yeah. If you start complaining about things like एक क्लास से दूसरे क्लास में जाने के लिए, या एक डिपार्टमेंट से दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट के लिए जाने के लिए बहुत टाइम लगता है या बहुत चलना पड़ता है, it means that you are fat irrespective of whatever that number is on the scale. So will you start doing this? Not stand on the scale first thing in the morning, or when do you weigh yourselves, by the way? Do you have weighing scales? Really? Where do you keep those weighing scales? In the gym. So you weigh yourselves in the gym? Okay. So yeah, so don't weigh yourself in the gym. वजन सिर्फ एक ही चीज का होता है, रद्दी का. जितना ज़्यादा वजन उतना ज़्यादा पैसा. So the day you decide to treat yourself as raddi, do weigh yourself, and every time the number goes up, feel happy. Because जितना ज़्यादा वजन उतना ज़्यादा पैसा. At least someone else will make money out of you if you can't make it out of yourself. So do not stand on the weighing scale, because all wrong decisions that you will take about fitness will start from the weighing scale. Instead, weigh yourself on your own 2 feet. So you, against the earth's gravitational force, on your own 2 feet, if you think you're light enough, when you go off to bed, it means that you're fit. Simple enough to do, but not so simple enough that you will feel stupid doing it. So you start standing. By the way, what is the body weight made of? Come on, louder. Bones and muscles and fats and organ and hair and skin and nails and water and all of that. And when we measure body weight, what exactly are we measuring? All of this. So your entire body mass into the earth's gravitational force. Which is why if you really want to lose weight and someone sent you to the moon, what would happen to your body weight? Yeah. And if someone threw you in the pool, what would happen to your body weight? Would you be lesser than what you weigh on land? Yes. So body weight tells you nothing. What tells you everything about your fitness is your body composition. And body composition is about retaining more muscle and bone and having small amount of adipose tissue or smaller amounts of adipose tissue or fat than what you're currently having. So anything that helps you reduce body fat percentage and anything that helps you increase your lean body weight is the kind of stuff that you should be doing. And the only way you will be able to assess if you are increasing your lean body weight and decreasing your fat weight is if you stand on your own 2 feet. Now what happens is that when you crack an exam like IIT, sorry, what is it called? JEE. Yeah, JEE. What do you need to do in terms of activity? Sit for many hours together? Yeah? Now, how do you think sitting is influencing your body composition, making you fitter or making you fatter? Fatter. And when you get fatter, will it necessarily increase your body weight? Think about it. Between muscle and fat, what is a more denser material? Muscle. So if you increased muscle, would it immediately add to your body weight? And if you increased your fat, would it immediately add to your body weight or would it add to your body volume? Body volume. So as you sit and sit and sit endlessly to crack exams, in classes, to complete assignments, when you're doing your night outs, when you have your big jobs, when you become CEOs or startup kings and queens or whatever else it is that you aspire to be, what is it mostly going to involve? A lot of sitting and therefore a lot of spreading, okay? What is going to spread? You, the person. So, body fat adds to volume and not to weight, which is why it is extremely important that once you decide that you have to get fit, that you should not go by body weight. Because what if someone turned you into an athlete and you started training regularly and eating right and you made tremendous gains in your lean body weight, in your muscle and bone? What would that do to your body weight? Increase it. And what would it do to your body volume? Decrease it. So, get this funda, that you have to work at increasing your lean body weight, and therefore what you need to look at is how light you feel on your feet and not how much you weigh on the scale, because once you start going to the gym, you will actually make gains in your body weight, but the weighing scale will make you believe that you're getting fatter because you're training, all right? But where in fact you're getting leaner but shrinking in volume. And how will you know that you're shrinking in volume? If you feel light on your feet. Between muscle and bone, what can contract and help you pull yourself up against gravity? Muscle. Why? Because muscle is striated. As a tissue, it has the ability to contract. Fat, on the other hand, just falls down with gravity. So, fat can't lift you up against gravity, which is why if you stand on your own 2 feet and you're carrying a whole lot of fat, you will feel the weight on your weight-bearing joints. What are your weight-bearing joints? Hips, knee, ankle, lower back, all of that. How many of you have lower back pain here? Good. Knee pain? Nice. No pain? Good, very good. And just lazy to put their hands up? Many, So, all right. So, fair amount of aches and pains in the weight-bearing joints. So, all right, first things first, no standing on the weighing scale. Second thing, no taking decisions on the calorie count of any meal, okay? Because what do calories tell you? Nothing, okay? So there is no science behind calories. It tells you nothing. I meet a whole lot of people in my work and they are overachievers and they do wonderful things in their life, and they say things to me like, Ruchita, everything else that I have decided, I have cracked it in my life. Whether it's $1 billion deal or whether it's producing a movie or getting that kind of endorsement or working with the government, I have cracked it all. But the one thing that I have not cracked is weight loss. And I always say, thank God. इसीलिए तो मेरा काम धंधा चल रहा है. Because what if all the smart people actually started trusting their own instinct, even with food and nutrition, like the way they trust their instinct with everything else that is of value in life. So, while choosing a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you're probably playing by your gut and not just by looks, or so I hope. And when you're cracking business deals, you're going by your gut. When you're doing other things in life, you're going by your gut. But when it comes to choosing meals, you're going by calories, which is what keeps people like me in business and keeps a lot of people fat. Because there is no science to calories. You cannot really tell how much calories are there and how much in what food. And calories at best are a rough estimate, okay? And most times it's just a wild guess. So that's what calories are all about. So you will never really know how many calories you are eating. That's one thing. Then why is the food industry or even the scientific or medical narrative so much around calories? Have you heard of this thing? Just eat fewer calories than you burn and you will lose weight. Have you heard of that? Just eat little more calories than what you need and you will gain weight. And if you just somehow manage to eat the exact number of calories that you are burning, then you will maintain weight. So the first thing it should tell us is that if they're talking about weight, they're already talking about something which makes no sense to our fitness or to our fatness. The second thing that it should tell you is that a complex specimen like a human being cannot possibly decide whether to store fat or burn fat based on how many calories it ate, because they even have a specific number. 500 कैलोरी ज़्यादा खाया तो वज़न बढ़ता है, 500 कैलोरी कम खाया तो वज़न घटता है, और सेम उतना ही खाया तो कुछ नहीं होता है. You know why this number 500? I really thought about it. Why 500? And then I realized because maybe they're talking to dietitians and we can't count beyond 500. So, so they gave us a small number to work with. 500. 500 के अंदर before it goes to 4 digits काम कर लो अपना. So obviously calories is not something that you can count, but the food, weight loss and the pharmaceutical industry is huge. Their influence on our syllabus is huge. Their influence on our government policies is huge. And what they do know is that if you do give smart people something tangible to work with, you can turn it into a good profit-making model. Because anything that is bad for people is wonderful for profits. So you can sell a biscuit for $100 and then you can say low-cal biscuit or low-cal ice cream and you can make 40 rupees extra. You can even just say low-cal, I don't know what, pedha, yeah? And you can make more money. Because people would really like to believe that there is something that you can just buy which will make you healthy. You don't really need to do much. You just need to eat fewer calories. But that is obviously not true. You don't need to eat fewer calories, but there is something else that you have to do. You know what that something else is? You have to pay attention while you're eating so that you eat exactly as much as you need. Are you all capable of paying attention while eating? Mobile is always in the hand. TV is probably on. Or you are maybe just studying and completing assignments, or you're just checking someone out from your hostel window. Hostel window hai? So it's tough to eat while paying attention to food. Plus, a lot of us are like superstars at our home, because in India, if you're studying, everyone starts serving you. Beta tum padh lo, everything will be at your table. As if wo pura world par upkar kar raha hai, khud ka uddhar karke. But obviously we do know that a son or a daughter with NCD is a non-communicable disease, is a liability and not an asset to any family. Okay, what are NCDs? NCDs are non-communicable diseases, जो एक दूसरे को छूने का वजह से नहीं फैलती, जो which follow because of this kind of behavior. I don't pay attention while I'm eating because I have many other important things to do. Well, there is nothing much more important than your health, and you will discover that soon enough. But in the meanwhile, while you haven't yet discovered it, what you should know is that non-communicable diseases are diseases like obesity, diabetes, thyroid, PCOD, period pain, heart disease, blood pressure, cancer, mental health issues. And all of these spread because people either, of course, there are policy problems, which I'll come to later, but individually, it's because we are not paying attention while we are eating. Okay? So you will have to now pay attention while you're eating. तो मतलब कैसा खाने का? I just tweeted, I'm talking to the smartest brains in town, so I'm nervous. Now I'm asking you, kaisa khane ka? You're all drawing a blank. When you take food in your hands, in which body part do you put it? Mouth. So what should you do? Chaba ke khane ka. Kitna chabane ka? More than what I'm chabawing you right now. So chaba ke khana khane ka. When you're eating, all your senses should be on the food that you're eating. At one point of time, we used to think that, it's all of this esoteric nonsense of like, pay attention to food while you eat. We are not yogis, we are bhogis. But Canadian guidelines got released just last week. And Canadian guidelines, Canada तो west में है, no? So typically we think जो भी west से आता है वो gold है, gold. So Canadian guidelines are number one heavily inspired by Brazilian guidelines, which came out in 2014. So Canadian guidelines of 2019 heavily inspired by Brazilian guidelines, nutrition guidelines of 2014. But India doesn't care about other developing economies like Brazil. We are constantly thinking, west. So, Canadian guidelines, with all their statistics, with all their science, with all their labs, with all their p-values and everything else in place, they said that, what is the most scientific way to eat? It isn't by measuring calories. It is not even by portion size. Otherwise, mostly तो dietitians खुद को धंधे में इसी चीज से रखते थे, like by telling people portions. How many of you have ever been to a dietitian? Hardly anyone. Which is great. So I take it back, you truly are the smartest people on earth. If there's one professional you should never see the face of is a dietitian. Public बोलता है lawyer से दूर रहो, पर lawyer को मिलो. If it's a, toss between a lawyer and a dietitian, lawyer, not dietitian. So, dietitians make money out of telling you how much to eat. Have you seen that? For those of you who have been there, खाली एक चम्मच ऑयल में पूरा फैमिली का खाना बनाने का, एक कटोरी में सबका दाल बनाने का. मतलब अबे तू पैसे दे रही है क्या खाना बनाने के? So why are you telling me how much to eat? But this is how we operate, and we have smart brains who come and listen to this kind of advice. Worse, they go home and follow it. Otherwise, everything in IIT Bombay is about questioning everything that you hear, okay? Fighting it, being argumentative, coming out with your own solutions, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to food and exercise, एकदम obedient students. जहाँ पे question करना है वहाँ पर चुप बैठो, जहाँ पर चुप रहना चाहिए वहाँ पे बोलो. It's a common problem. But coming back to this, so dietitians used to give people portion sizes, all in the hope of controlling the amount of calories that people are consuming. Canadian guidelines in 2019 make no mention of portion sizes, which means कि धंधा बंद हो गया बहुत लोगों का. And they also say that all that you need to stay away from non-communicable diseases, and all that you need to stay healthy as people and as a planet. Should we worry about the planet that we are living on? Yeah, because currently that's all that we are, that's where we live, so we should worry. Yeah. The only thing that works for the health of the planet and for the people is to have people pay attention while eating. So no TV, no WhatsApp, no iPad, no completing assignments, no nothing at all. Just chaba ke khane ka. That's all. So will you start doing that? खुद के पैरों पे खुद का वजन करने का और अपने ही मुंह में चबा चबा के खाने का. How interesting. So, and imagine, chaba chaba ke khana, good for people, good for planet. Why is it good for people? You digest better, you actually have a satiety signal which sets in. And do you know that human beings are incapable of overeating? Are you aware of that? You may not be aware of that. But sometimes you don't even behave like human beings here in IIT. So, well, human beings, when they eat and when they reach satiety, they release one hormone called leptin. Leptin is basically, leptin ka Greek in, comes from this Greek root leptos. Leptos basically means thin. So when you eat and you're paying attention to the food that you're eating, your body secretes leptin and then it tells you, बस हो गया, फ्री में भी रहेगा तो और खाओ मत. And it also helps you unwind and stay calm, and it gives you good sleep in the night. Are you interested in good sleep? You are? Are you sure? Okay, good. So it gives you good sleep in the night. You don't have to wake up and use the loo or, check your phone and stuff. And leptin does all this for you. For girls also, it will ensure that they stay thin. For boys also, same thing. So our body will secrete leptin. Every human being has the ability to self-terminate the act of eating. We do not need a calorie count, but what we do need is attention. So pay attention and chaba ke khao. That's point number 2, all right? Coming to point number 3, the Canadian guidelines, which are inspired by the Brazilian guidelines, talk about sustainability. And the reason why they talk about sustainability is because it is very important to have whatever our goals could be in life, that we have a good planet to live on so that we are actually able to meet all our goals, okay? So there has to be something called as sustainable. You've heard of the word sustainable development? Yeah? कि जब आप मेट्रो बनाते हो और कुछ भी बनाते हो, there has to be sustainable growth, sustainable development. Do you think Mumbai is going the sustainable development route? No. But can we individually go on the sustainable diet route? Yeah? How do you know that you're on a sustainable diet? You know you're on a sustainable diet if whatever diet that you are eating right now for your fitness, okay, not for weight loss, for your fitness, is something that you can eat for the next 50 years. If you think that what you're eating is good enough for you to eat for the next 50 years, then you're on a sustainable diet. And how will you choose a sustainable diet? A diet which is removed from the concepts of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. When you look at food, if you start seeing carbohydrate, protein, and fat, then it means that you're on an unsustainable diet plan. What do you think of racism? Are you for it or against it? What does racism really stand for? कि कलर के हिसाब से डिसाइड करने का कि किस में कितना दम है, करेक्ट? और whether to let them come into the country or not let them come into the country. What about casteism? Same thing. We are against it, We feel like everything should be on merit. What about ageism? Ageism is अभी तुम बुड्ढे हो गए, अभी घर पे बैठो. We are against that also. So, what about nutritionism? Nutritionism is about looking at food and then thinking of food as carbohydrate, protein, fat, and not as dal chawal, not as roti sabzi, not as poha, not as idli, not as uttapa, not as chicken biryani or whatever else that we are currently eating. So systemic vilification based on natural occurrences are all kinds of isms, correct? So racism, sexism, ageism. So there is a word called as nutritionism also. Nutritionism aims to make you feel inadequate at all points of time. Especially protein. A lot of people ask me, protein kahan se milega? Protein kahan se milega? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Especially when you're eating Maggi. Do you eat Maggi? Or have you switched to Patanjali instant noodles? Or are you smart enough to know that both are just as bad, probably being sourced from the same place but just packaged separately? No? So, constantly feeling that your diet lacks in some nutrient is the work of nutritionism. जैसे हर लड़की कोशिश करती रहती है कि वो somehow और ज़्यादा गोरी बन जाए. Our phones even have a filter which is called as beauty. You've seen it? I saw it on my cousin's phone. One is a normal photo, one is a beauty photo. What happens in the beauty photo is that you look fairer than what you are. We also have things like Fair and Lovely and stuff like that being amongst the best sellers in the country. Why? What is it that they're trying to make us feel? Inadequate. You're not good enough. थोड़ी और गोरी हो जाओगी तो अच्छी लगोगी. What is our standard for boy? I heard a comedy show. They said कि हमारी लड़कों से बस एक ही इच्छा है, पैदा हो जाओ. बाकी आगे कुछ करने का जरूरत नहीं है. But anyways, coming back to nutritionism, looking at our food and thinking, what can I do to increase protein? What can I do to increase amino acids? What can I do to increase my omega-3 fatty acid? What can I do to increase my B12? What can I do to increase my iron? If you have asked yourself all of these questions, you've been a victim of nutritionism. And then what happens is that to sell everything, we have a ready-made industry. Omega-3 fatty acids, have you heard of them? Have you aspired to eat more than what you're currently eating? No, thank God for that, huh? But have you aspired to eat more fish as compared to chicken and mutton? Or aspired to eat fish instead of just being fully vegetarian? If you've ever felt any of those things, because a lot of people on earth have felt that over the last 10-15 years, and many more people have eaten fish in the whole bargain. And now what we actually have is a threat to marine biodiversity because there has been overconsumption of one kind of fish. Vegetarians भी fish खाना चालू कर दिया. Chicken और mutton eaters भी fish खाना चालू कर दिया. So what is going to happen to marine biodiversity? It will go. If marine biodiversity is under threat, what about life on land? Will that also come under threat because of this? Yes. Then it's also about what we are doing in the omega-3 fatty acid. You've heard now. Have you heard of krill oil? So first they went on and on about omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 fatty acid खाओ, fish खाओ, fish खाओ, fish खाओ. Then they said अभी इसको बहुत बेच दिया, अभी तो ये actual inventory ही कम हो रहा है because of this whole threat to marine biodiversity. Now let's look for something else. So they started going for krill. Krill was a microorganism that only shark would eat. But they said, you know what, now this is an even richer source of omega-3 than the fish. So greedy human beings started buying krill oil, which was not even a part of their food systems to begin with. So basically nutritionism में हमको जो भी बेचोगे हम लोग पैसे से उसको खरीदेंगे. That's what most stupid people do, but not people from IIT Mumbai. So that's about omega-3 fatty acids. About meat. A lot of people begin to consume a lot of meat. Why? Protein. And then what happens when too many people eat a whole lot of protein? What happens to methods of actually producing this meat? Does it stay sustainable? No. It begins to get unsustainable. But there's a solution to that also. It's called veganism, which is a huge hit in the West. तो पहला तो सबको मीट ईटर्स बनाओ, उसका इंडस्ट्री बनाओ, फिर जो भी उससे पक गए हैं उनको veganism बेचो. Ensure that people go from one extreme to another at all points of time so that you are constantly in business. That's how the food industry works. What was India's method of eating meat? India's method of eating meat is what currently nutrition science is saying is the gold standard way of eating meat. But they are currently not taking the name of India. अगर वो लोग ने ले लिया इंडिया का नाम तो हम लोग का full nationalistic fervor वापस चालू हो जाएगा. हम लोग को तो पहले से ही पता था. But you know this whole thing in India saying आज मेरा सोमवार है, आज मेरा शुक्रवार है. मतलब बाकी लोगों का नहीं है आज शुक्रवार, बाकी लोगों का भी है. But on Shukrawar or on Somwar, we don't eat meat. or only on a Sunday we may eat meat, or only on a Friday we may eat meat, or only on a Wednesday we may eat meat. This sometimes eating meat and many times not eating meat. Have you heard of things like अभी श्रावण चल रहा है, तो वापस क्या दारू भी नहीं पीने का और मीट भी नहीं खाने का, led to sustainable production of meat, more importantly sustainable consumption, because people were eating chicken as chicken or fish as fish and not as protein. But the minute you started eating it as protein, you want it 3 times in the day and you want it at all cost, little realizing that you are now living out of your ecological means. And it is going to cost you in one way or the other. How many of you see all the weeds on Powai Lake and know that, this is a disaster? Everyone realizes that, right? So, eating meat for protein is as big a disaster as the weeds on Powai Lake. You should remember that, okay, in terms of ecological threat. So, what is it that you should do? What other example can I give you? Have you heard of olive oil? Have you heard of virgin olive oil? Why is it called virgin olive oil? Because we are all obsessed with virginity. So, virgin olive oil is good for the heart. Every time you hear these kind of things, that this is good for the heart, that is good for the brain, you should always ask, भाई किसके heart के लिए? आपके heart के लिए तो अच्छा नहीं है. Why is it not good for your heart? Because it doesn't grow here. So what is good for your heart? Anything that grows here. How much here? 100 kilometers around wherever you are. Okay? And what is the fat that we were eating? Groundnut oil. Was that good for us? But is that good for the oil making companies? No. Is groundnut oil good for the heart? Is wine good for the heart? Little. थोड़ा पीने का. एक डिपार्टमेंट से दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट में चलने को आना चाहिए, उतना पीने का. So wine is good for no organ of any human being, including the ones who reside inside IIT Mumbai. So wine is not good for the heart. But what wine has is a $40 billion industry in just California alone. And California can tell you that everything about them is cool, affluent and aspirational. और public मानता है. तो marketing करो तो ऐसा करो. That's all that you should learn from them. Buy all the headlines. Buy out all the health professionals. And best, get into their syllabuses so that they don't even know that they're being brainwashed. तो free में आपका publicity होता रहता है. Wherein you are not good for the heart at all. So we now know that wine is not good for the heart. But any which ways, if you look at nutritionism, wine was supposed to be good for the heart for this one nutrient called resveratrol. Now, resveratrols in high amounts is present in groundnut. But groundnut, हर एक cardiac surgeon ने भी public को बंद कर दिया कि groundnut मत खाओ. Every food decision that we make affects our local economy. Groundnuts is a good example to see how this happens. In Mumbai, at one point of time, you would have these peanut wala or bhel wala who would go everywhere. I'm sure they used to come here also. I don't know if they needed a gate pass, but they were required everywhere. I mean, they would be seen everywhere. Then everyone got very heart healthy, okay? And they stopped eating groundnuts and stuff. They started ordering food online instead. काय को चल के जाके लेने का 5 रुपए का packet when you can call for something online for $50 or $500. And then what you have obviously is a huge health issue. But in the meanwhile, peanuts which are rich in resveratrol have got branded as bad for the heart and full of cholesterol. Heard of that? Peanuts, cashews, coconut, full of cholesterol. But what is good for the heart? Olive oil, wine. क्यों? Marketing, boss. Nothing else. I get emails from, so the European Union and stuff supports olive oil, okay? They come to developing countries like ours, India and all of that. They write emails to what they consider as influencers. Influencers matlab apna free mein kaun bak bak karega, huh? And then they write emails to me saying, you know, we are going to have this thing at this kind of an exhibition and we invite you to be our special guest. तो मतलब 7-8 हज़ार रुपए का ticket free. And then you can go and they will send you hampers of olive oil. And they say that, you know, we are going to be doing marketing, so you can come and talk about the heart health benefits of olive oil. We will also send you a pamphlet so that you can, you know what you're supposed to talk. And we will also be having girls in short skirts at our counter. When I read that, I'm like, अरे, how do you know that we are attracted to them? मतलब इतना स्टडी करके मार्केट में तुम आए हो कि कौन से काउंटर पे पब्लिक जाएगा, where there are girls in short skirts. Have you seen people at the Red Bull counter? What are they wearing? Short skirts and hot pants. So if anyone is selling anything on with a short skirt, you should know you're probably unhealthy cheese बेच रहे हैं, because they have just studied market behavior and they have figured this. Anyways, so we stopped that for resveratrol. You can no longer see this local economy, this micro economy of a Singdana wala. But you do know that olive oil is at every single place. What we also now know that if the whole world has to drink olive oil, they are producing olive oil in extremely unsustainable manner. So olive oil is good when you go on a holiday abroad, maybe somewhere in the Mediterranean region, and you have your olives and olive oils. It's totally great to do it there. But out here, you stick to groundnut oil or mustard oil or coconut oil based on the region that you come from. And on ghee. How many of you are still eating ghee? Because ghee is the best thing. Well done. Ghee is the best thing that's happened to human civilization. And Cleveland Clinic का नाम सुना आपने US में? So Cleveland Clinic is the heart clinic where all rich Indians go to get a bypass. Now if you do go for medical or diet advice in India, what are you told about ghee? मत खाओ, मत खाओ, मत खाओ. लेकिन आईसीयू में बाहर आते ही आपको 2 बिस्किट हॉस्पिटल में ही मिल जाते हैं. बिस्किट खाओ, घी मत खाओ. व्हाट इज द मैसेज? फूड इंडस्ट्री का खाना खाओ, फार्म से उठा के कोई भी चीज अपने किचन में बना के मत खाओ. दैट इज व्हाट इज डेंजरस. फूड इंडस्ट्री से सब कुछ खाओ. दैट्स द नैरेटिव. दिस इज इन साइंस एंड दैट नीड्स टू बी क्वेश्चन्ड एट ऑल पॉइंट्स ऑफ टाइम्स व्हेन वी रिसीव डाइट एडवाइस. सो नाउ क्लीवलैंड क्लिनिक, विच इज all heart surgeries ka baap clinic, released a poster on the importance of ghee. Immediately Twitter got excited and said, we always knew this. You always knew this, but were you doing it? No. You constantly went against the advice of your grandmother and you chose professional advice instead. We are all guilty of that. You know, sometimes in big ways, sometimes in small ways. And this brings me to point number 4 again, because this has also been recognized by the UN, which is why the year 2019 has been declared as the year of indigenous languages. And the reason why it's been declared as the year of indigenous languages is because the UN feels that the world thinks that English is the language of science. And therefore, every time anyone speaks in a local or an indigenous language, they don't get taken seriously. And then we lose out on all of the traditional wisdom of health, well-being, arts, culture, and many other things just because someone says it in an indigenous language. I think we lose a language, we lose at least one language every 2 weeks. It's a big rate of loss. And you know, you have all heard this, that if you are eating ghee at home and your grandmom is around and you say that, I think I have eaten too much ghee, what does she say to you? खाओ बेटा खाओ, और तुमने JEE की पढ़ाई करनी है और खाओ. What does your grandmom say? खाओ खाओ, काउंट मत करो कितना खा रहे हो, जितने की ज़रूरत है उतना खाओ. Heard of that? If you ate puris, if you ate puran puris, everything. What did you think about your grandmother? Unpad औरत. What do you know? इसमें कितना saturated fat है, इसमें कितना calories है, इससे क्या क्या होएगा मेरे आर्ट को, तुमको किधर मालूम. बट ऑल दिस इन योर हेड बिकॉज यू डोंट इवन हैव द टाइम टू टॉक टू हर. But just disregard her advice. Then in 2014, USDA came out with a statement saying, and of course people were not eating ghee also because they thought that it has too much cholesterol. Heard of that, no? बहुत cholesterol है, तो खाने का नहीं इसको. क्या खाने का? सब refined vegetable oils. जो कम से कम पैसे में maximum extraction of oil from all the possible seeds which can otherwise not be used, so that you can just put one diagram on heart on the bottle and people will buy thinking that it is heart healthy, especially if it comes with a nice jingle like healthy oil for healthy people. अरे वाह, बहुत healthy रहेगा ये तो. So that's how, you know, so घी हम लोग ने खाना बंद कर दिया. फिर 2014 में USDA ने बोला कोलेस्ट्रॉल इज अ न्यूट्रिएंट विच इज नो लॉन्गर ऑफ कंसर्न फॉर ओवर कंजम्पशन. तो हम लोग को लगा इंग्लिश में बोला, मेरे को समझा भी नहीं, मतलब 100% साइंटिफिक ही रहेगा. यू नो, एनीथिंग दैट्स कंफ्यूजिंग इज साइंस. एनीथिंग दैट आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड इज अ साइंटिफिक कॉन्सेप्ट दैट इज वर्थ स्टडिंग एंड क्रैकिंग. बट इफ समवन सेज अरे खाओ खाओ कुछ नहीं होता है, वगैरह खाते वक्त गिनो मत, क्या प्यार मोहब्बत? This can't possibly be love. I mean, science. Science is complicated. Simplicity is something that we look down upon. And especially if it's done in an indigenous language, which is why we again now need to have a revival. Imagine UN needs to come out with a International Year of Indigenous Languages, ताकि सारे पढ़े लिखे लोग indigenous languages का महत्व समझे. So since you represent the highest grade of Padho Likhna, will you all now also talk in your indigenous language a little bit? And when you have your children and when their school gives you an ultimatum कि तुम्हारे बच्चे को इंग्लिश नहीं आता, उन लोग को इंग्लिश में बात करना सिखाओ, तो will you go and talk to them and say, okay, keep off? They should obviously be able to talk at least in 3 or 4 different languages, including the one that they're currently living in, the one that they're born into, the different heritages that they're born into and stuff like that. Because जब हम indigenous language में किसी खाने का नाम लेते हैं तो हम खाने का नाम लेते हैं. जब हम English में उसी खाने का नाम लेते हैं तो हम nutrient का नाम लेते हैं. And once we take a nutrient का नाम, we begin to discriminate against it and then we systematically move away from our food culture. दाल चावल, वरण भात, खिचड़ी कढ़ी, ये सब indigenous language में are foods. In English what are they? Carbs, starch. इतना बोरिंग, ऑलरेडी इतना बोरिंग चीज़ कर ही रहे लाइफ में इतना पढ़ के, अभी और फूड के साथ और कितना बोरिंग. सो खाने का नाम हमेशा लोकल लैंग्वेज में होना चाहिए. इज दैट ऑल्सो एन ईजी कॉन्सेप्ट? डू यू रिमेंबर एवरीथिंग दैट आई टोल्ड यू? क्विक टेस्ट. Where should you take your weight? क्या बात है? Second, चबा चबा के खाओ. Third, हाँ, sustainability and not carbohydrate, protein, fat. So no to food groups, yes to food systems. किधर से आया, कितना टाइम तक कोल्ड स्टोरेज में रहा, कैसा मेरे प्लेट पे आया. Okay, so start thinking about those things. And the last thing that I told you right now is indigenous languages. Talk about food in your indigenous language. If you like some girl or boy, उसका नाम जानने का कोशिश करते हो कि नहीं? इंट्रो करा ना? क्यों? नाम जानने का है, पर नाम में बहुत काबिलियत रहती है. So similarly, take the right name of your food. It's not carbohydrate, protein and fat. It's only when you don't have a relationship with someone you describe them like this. वो department में है, वो ऐसा थोड़ी, you know, short, that fair girl, that big guy with the balding head. So otherwise you have names for them. So जब नाम है तभी connect है. So stay connected with your food. And lastly, before I throw it open for Q&A, exercise and activity is extremely important. How important? More important than getting admission or securing admission in IIT. Much more important than that. Why? Because it is exercise and activity that makes your life, not a college degree. Because to have a good life, you need to have good health. And the one thing that assures good health is staying active and exercising regularly. What is the meaning of activity? Doing small things yourself. What kinds of things? Making your own bed, picking up your own cup, एक दिन झाड़ू मारने का अपने hostel room का, all these are doing small activities yourself. Exercise मतलब क्या? Taking activity a notch up, so adding a challenge to it in terms of either strength, stamina, flexibility, or stability. Strength, stamina, flexibility, and stability. These are the four corners of any fitness program. Adding a challenge to your activity in terms of any of these four qualifies as exercise. And how much exercise you need to do? At least 150 minutes per week, or roughly about half an hour every day. अगर उतना टाइम नहीं है तो टाइम बनाओ उसके लिए. Push everything to a little later. Because once you begin to exercise, you know what grows? We were talking about body composition, lean body में. Muscle. What else you think must be growing? What has the ability to expand and shrink other than muscle? You know what keeps the brain alert, active, and functioning? Exercise. So if you want a sharp brain, how many of you have a sharp brain? All of us. How many of you would like it to be even sharper? All of us. You have something, what is it called? IIT में कौन सा type का marking होता है? Where it's not enough to do well, others have to do worse than what you did. What is that called? Huh? So you have to constantly be very sharp. So to be constantly very, very sharp, you need to constantly exercise. How much constantly? Till you're alive. Till the last day of your life. So from the time that you're born till the last day of your life. You know who's one of the first people who gets employed for you the minute you're born? मालिश वाली. जो आके even when you're one immobile thing, तुम्हारा हाथ पैर सब हिलाती है. Because till that point of time you're under your parents' control. उसके बाद में you're out of control, but at least you should be under your own control and exercise at least 30 minutes every single day. What is the best exercise? Strength training, yoga, or running, or playing a sport? What's the best one? Anything that gets done is the best one. So do it. That is all that is important. Baki otherwise is just like technicalities. You can talk about what's better than the other, but whatever gets done is the best thing. So just do it, and 30 minutes every single day. And with that, also sleep on time. Is that possible? Mental health, physical health, emotional health, everything, your waistline, everything resides on your ability to sleep well. So ideally from 10 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the, I'm talking about the way you currently sleep, right? So 10 o'clock in the night to 5 a.m. in the morning is when you get good sleep. So try and optimize the number of hours that you sleep there. Never ever tell yourself that I'm getting my 8 hours somehow. Have you heard of Amitabh Bachchan? So he does a lot of work, and people say he rarely sleeps because he's constantly working. So a journalist asked him, so when do you sleep, Mr. Bachchan? And he said, in interviews. So वैसे ही maybe आप लोग कभी कभी classes में सोते रहेंगे, या maybe you were all sleeping right now, I don't know. But sleep in the night, sleep on your bed, because the most underrated aspect of health and wealth and happiness and harmony is sleep. So you have to work at optimizing your sleep. The better you sleep, the better you begin to feel about yourself. The lighter you get on your feet, the sharper your brain works, the more confident you get about choosing sustainability over short-term measures. And that really is everything that you need to know about fitness that goes beyond numbers. So is that enough of thought for the day? Yeah? So a lot for you to chew on. So now if you have any questions, just raise your hand and shout out your question. But Before that, let me thank you for being such a patient, kind, indulgent, generous audience. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Thank you for the wonderful
Thank
talk.
you.
I am a vegan and I want to ask what could be a substitute for ghee? Can I replace it with almond butter or peanut butter? Since you have praised a lot about ghee today.
I know. So, amongst the Panch Amrit, do you know that there's something called as Panch Amrit in India? So, what are the Panch Amrits of India? So, out of the 5, 3 are milk and milk products, okay? And 2 are honey and sugar. Honey और sugar भी food industry ने बोला खाने का नहीं, ताकि स्वीटनर्स का धंधा बढ़े. और अभी ये भी मिल्क और सब खाने का नहीं, आमंड मिल्क पीने का टू मेक फॉर कैल्शियम. इतना सारा आमंड मिल्क पूरे वर्ल्ड में जाने के लिए, बिकॉज आई बिलीव वीगनिज्म इज बिल्ट ऑन सस्टेनेबिलिटी एंड नॉन क्रूअल्टी टुवर्ड्स एवरीवन. So to make so much almond butter, to make so much almond flour, and to make so much almond milk, do you think you can make all that through sustainable means? So one of the things that the current almond industry is doing is destroying bees. And you all know that life on earth is linked to bees, right? I mean, if we lose bees, we lose life. Another thing that veganism also does is promote stuff like quinoa. Heard of that? Okay. Quinoa कहाँ पर ग्रो होता है नेचुरली?
अफ्रीका.
या साउथ अमेरिका में. अभी कहाँ कहाँ पे मिलता है? हर एक जगह जहाँ जहाँ पे शाहरुख खान ने डांस किया है. तो न्यूयॉर्क, लंदन, सैन फ्रांसिस्को, दर्दे डिस्को एंड दर्दे कीनोवा. सो यहाँ सब जगह मिलता है. दैट इज ऑल्सो अनसस्टेनेबल. नाउ यू हैव विद इन साउथ अमेरिका थिंग्स लाइक quinoa wars. Women and children have died because the rich, young, affluent, educated across the globe want more quinoa for more protein because they have decided to not get protein from meat and meat products. So one of the things, and this is not to convert you or anything, but when you're talking about milk and problems associated with milk and milking, it's very important to have a reality check. In India, the model of milk that we have are small farms which have 1 or 2 cows each, which sell milk and make money out of it. So we are not unsustainable production of milk. In fact, I read a headline recently in London. It said, it's not about the cow, it's about how. So kaisa milk bana is much more important than milk. But if you've decided to go vegan, just make more intelligent choices, depend more on rice and legumes and pulses. India has 65,000 varieties of pulses. Pulses matlab moong, matki, chana, rajma, आगे मसूर, उड़द और कुड़ेत, कुल्थी, यस, नवरंगी दाल. 12 भी आए नहीं, बट आर वी द शार्पेस्ट ब्रेन्स? यस. टोटल नंबर कितना है? 65,000. सो हाउ मेनी शुड यू? यस, वेल डन. इफ आई एवर हैव एन एंट्रेंस एग्जाम, you will stand first. So yeah, so include rice, include pulses, include various millets. And in indigenous wisdom, we all know this. Jawar kab khane ka? Summer mein ke winter mein? Wrong. बाजरा फॉर विंटर, समर के लिए ज्वार, नाचनी 12 महीना, राइस 12 महीना. सो ईट इट लाइक दैट एंड यू विल बी फाइन. एंड नो के जब तक के वेजिटेबल्स में हमारे यहाँ पर तड़का लगता है, हम लोग तड़का मार के ही बनाते हैं वेजिटेबल्स और दाल्स और पल्सेस, तब तक वी आर गेटिंग नॉट जस्ट ओमेगा 3 बट ऑल्सो ओमेगा 6 एंड ऑल्सो ओमेगा 9. सो जस्ट स्टिक टू योर traditional food system, because that's a good way to keep yourself healthy and the planet healthy also. Essentially, when we eat according to our food systems, we eat in a more diverse way. When we eat in a more diverse way, we compete lesser for the same 2-3 staples. That is how we will stay a sustainable, safe and healthy planet even in 2050, when we will be a population of more than, almost 10 billion people. So forget ghee abhi ke liye. बट श्योरली डोंट थिंक कि घी में जो न्यूट्रिएंट है वो मैं आमंड बटर और पीनट बटर से कैसे खाऊं, बिकॉज देन यू आर ओनली थिंकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ अ न्यूट्रिएंट. और अगर न्यूट्रिएंट चाहिए ही तो घी से ही खाओ.
Concerned about the adulteration of the milk that happens.
Get milk from a good place. You know, a lot of people from IIT now are in this whole Desi Cow business. Call them for one of your festivals and stuff like that and have them sell it to you or give you free samples at least. Alumni bonding and stuff like that. Khali paise mat do, ghee bhi do. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Rajita, hi.
Hi.
It was really good that you focused on traditional food practices and things like that. Since you are an influencer, and I have this question because there was a very good paper, and since we all look towards the West for evidence, in 2004, Professor Barry Popkin at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, had this paper where he talked about time spent on cooking practices and how that correlates with depression and how that makes it more sustainable and things like that, and also how it also triggers and brings down obesity levels. Why I think that this is one aspect that we quite often, first and foremost, of course, is not, our kitchens are unequal. You know, it's mainly the women who do it, and more often now that even in urban-centric households, women and men do not participate adequately, and moreover, we have this tendency, you know, to take out our apps and order our food, even if it is for dal chawal now.
Right.
So, since this is also another aspect which really makes is a very important determinant on having an outcome on how,
Right.
just like the way you said that standing on your 2 feet, this is something we should also focus on. So is there any way that you think, in your own way, catering to not just the IIT crowd but people out there, how is it that we should get this
First of
information
all,
across?
now no matter where I talk, I will tell them I have now started talking about cooking skills because I got this advice free of cost from IIT Mumbai. So thank you very much for that. But you're right. Cooking skills are extremely important. Even the Canadian guidelines mention them now. And you know, this is the first time in my entire career that I have had someone from the audience talk about Barry Popkins. Because otherwise, just no one seems to even know that there is a person like this, or you know. And he basically talks about the term nutrition transition. Have you heard of nutrition transition? Nutrition transition मतलब लोग अपना अपना खाना छोड़ देते हैं और ब्रेकफास्ट में पोहा, उपमा, इडली, पराठा ये सब छोड़ के सीरियल मिल्क खाते हैं. दैट इज न्यूट्रिशन ट्रांजिशन. या ओट्स खाते हैं. तो they give up on their traditional native ways, eat more Western food, and they live in developing economies, so they move lesser, and that's how they all get fat and sick with the non-communicable diseases. But one of the skills which is worth keeping is the skill of cooking, because the more time we invest in cooking, the better off we get in preventing food wastage. The better off we get in terms of actually enhancing our nutrient intake, and the better off we become even as people. We become more kind and compassionate. So it's extremely important that we cook. Now, how do we enhance the whole image of cooking? I think the next time you're talking to anyone, or if you ever put up your profile on Tinder or on a matrimonial site, and if you're a man from IITB, you should surely say, I can cook. And by that, I don't mean omelette, chai, or Maggie. So maybe everyone else will aspire to cook. But cooking is an important skill. It's a life-saving skill, and it does keep you thin. So yes, please cook. How many days a week? Yes. And who should be taking the lead at home? Men or women? And ideally, men. Because where does gender equality start from? It starts from the kitchen. It doesn't start from anywhere else. So if you really believe in a more equal world, then you need to have the man in the kitchen, and the responsibility for this lies with the men. Why not with the women? Because Bharatiya Nari is overburdened with all the things that she's already doing. You know, there was a research which was done, who are the most stressed out women in the world? Bharatiya Nari. तो अभी हम लोग ये नहीं लेंगे कि हमारे हस्बैंड को और बेटों को हम लोग खाना बनाना सिखाए, वो लोग खुद सीखेंगे अभी. But thank you, sir. That's an important point. Yes.
Most of us stay on hostels, so we are at the mercy of the mess food. So we do not have luxury of cooking or having these things. But we also like to strength train, like most of us. So do you have any suggestions for us, like how to strike a perfect balance when we strength train? And
when you try, I mean, for strength training, I've written one book called Don't Lose Out Workout. Surely get that, read that. In fact, my latest one is called Notes for Healthy Kids. So all those of you who are here with their little kids, I mean, that's the book that you should be reading. The perfect way to get a balanced strength training workout is to ensure that you're not doing strength training on 2 consecutive days. So if you've done strength training today, then the next one should only happen day after. And you should work at keeping your repetition range between 8 and 10 and work at lifting as much weight as you can correctly between those 8 and 10 reps. That's one of the ways of striking the right healthy balance. As far as the mess food goes, what do you think of well, I think it was IIT रायपुर में भी है ना? NIT नहीं, अच्छा तो IIM I think रहेगा. Okay, I don't know. Because one of these people from Raipur या ऐसा कुछ तो got in touch with me and they said, ma'am, give us a schedule for the mess, you know, because currently ये ऐसा सब हम लोग random चीज़ें बनाते हैं. And I even made it for them and I sent it to them. So if you write to me for your mess food, then I'll make one for you also. So yeah, and free of cost, free. Thanks. No, but it's important that young talent eats well. So,
Ma'am, and my second question is on policy. We being the oldest civilization, yet we refer to the policies from West for our food, which cannot be translated to India. So you being an influential person, can we hope for a change that we will have our own guidelines?
Well, I try to do that in my own possible way. I think, you know, through all my books, one of the main things that I try and do is advocacy for exactly this, that we cannot be having a set guideline to ensure that each one of us is eating right. All that we need to do is go back to our time-tested wisdom and eat food accordingly. You know, something which respects local, seasonal and traditional is really the healthy food, and even the West seems to be saying the same thing. But it's not quite about just people like me. It is also about government policies on junk food, for example, you know, I mean, because food industry influences the government to ensure that junk food is available everywhere, but local food is not. I mean, for example, right now, if you hop across to Hiranandani, yeah, you may not find bear from Palghar, but you will find berries from Portugal. So surely that has to do with the kind of policies that we have in place. Every school के बाहर junk food मिलता है, आपके canteen में भी मिलता है. You can easily have a regulation which says that नहीं मिलेगा, या maybe at least have a ration or do enough advocacy to say कि नहीं मिलेगा. What just this morning, in fact, Lancet released a report and they said all junk food now needs to have a warning similar to cigarette packets. So you can still smoke, but at least you should know that it's dangerous for your health, which is also what I said, I think, in my TOI interview last week. But I think it will only become a movement when each one of us is involved. And really, as people who are within IIT Bombay, you may possibly not realize your influence on the world outside. But what you guys say, what you guys do, what you guys choose to not do changes the country much more than what random people like me do. You know, we are only big on social media. We don't really create, you know, how many parents are going to say, dekho, isko dekho, ye dietitian ban gayi. But everyone is going to say, dekho, isko dekho, isliye IIT B mein admission mila. So what you eat, what you don't eat has a much bigger influence. So you are a bigger influence than what I am. So, and we can make that influence with the choice that we make in terms of what comes on our plate. So everything, our food choices have the ability to make it a better world for you and me and the entire human race. So start using your influence from now. Thank you. Yes, hi.
Thank you, madam, for a wonderful
Thank
talk.
you.
I want to know your opinion about how many times a meal per day, because nowadays in Maharashtra, one diet is very famous, you know, that it is 2 meals per day, and a lot of people are getting benefited from that. I have heard that a lot of people have got diabetes reversal also with that. So what is your opinion? That diet is not restricted for protein and this kind of thing. We can eat everything, but 2 times a day.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, that, you know, if it is not going to be restricted in terms of nutrients, it will be restricted in terms of timing. So people who want to eat 2 times a day can eat 2 times a day, but this is typically what I have seen, because I work with Mumbai police, I work with a whole lot of people who like land up becoming the CEOs and stuff like that. And one of the things that people will say, not because they are on any kind of a timing restricted diet, iske khane ko time nahi milta hai. Probably you guys also must have said this, you know, when you're studying or finishing assignments and stuff like that, that khane ko time nahi milta. So you barely end up eating once or twice. And when you look at these people, not even once do you feel that this is what I want to look like. So everything makes you lose weight in the short term. But the only diet that we should follow is a diet which has stood the test of time. And what diet has really stood the test of time? Listening to your own stomach and then eating at a time when you're hungry and then terminating the act of eating once you are done with eating. So if you just do this whole chaba ke khane ka, you know, then you are in a safe zone. And every time that you have to look anywhere on the outside, whether it's on the weighing scale, whether it's at your watch, whether it's on a fitness app, you should know that anything that removes you the person, and turns you into a program, essentially robs you away from yourself. And I think that's a much bigger loss than anything else. So listen to your own stomach and eat accordingly. Okay?
Whenever I am hungry, that time only I should eat.
Whenever you're... Yes. But for that, you should practice chaba ke khana so that you know when to stop, and when to eat. Yes, hi.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I've heard two indigenous myths. I don't know exactly where I heard them, but one says that when you wake up in the morning, suppose like you have to go for a run. So like some say that, okay, you should drink water when you wake up, or you should have something to eat. So and the other says you should not. So I want to know which one is scientifically correct.
Of course, you should wake up and drink water. You should even drink water during your run. Okay? Because otherwise you would be running on a dehydrated state, and that's not healthy. You would cramp and stop the run. Let's stop at that last girl, Okay.
Ma'am, actually I want to know, women about 35 years, they end up having too much of calcium, and then they suffer from heart, stroke and all the problems. So what is the right way of second is, we have calcium with iron, then it doesn't get, our body is not able to absorb the right kind of calcium. So what is the right way of having calcium, and how much should we have?
Well, if you do begin to eat locally, seasonally and traditionally, then you would end up having the right amount of calcium. But the only way to retain that calcium is to exercise and to stay active. These problems of excess of calcium that you're talking about often actually happen when your body falls short of calcium stores and starts eating into its own bone tissue.
Yeah, and with iron, if we can't have with iron, then how?
You don't need to have an iron tablet. Even if you stick to things like, have you heard of Ariv or garden cress seeds? Yeah, so they are rich in iron. Cashew is rich in iron. So many legumes that we eat are rich in iron, so we don't need a pill.
No, I mean to ask, see now I have calcium gold papri. Nachni gold papri. So what is the way of having calcium? Right way of having calcium? Because iron and calcium shouldn't be taken together, is it?
Only if it's a pill. But naturally, like ragi or nachni, for example, will have both iron and calcium. But the body has already perfected a method of assimilating both from ragi, but not from two pills if you took at one time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I just want to know that autoimmune diseases are on a rise in the West. Examples, rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid. Are these reversible by diet and good exercise?
Autoimmune diseases are on the rise. So are allergies, infections and intolerances. Yeah, like in the smallest shop that you go to in the US and stuff, they will say that, our product may contain allergens or whatever else. And the reason why they do this, and there's a very interesting theory behind this, it's called as the hygiene hypothesis. Have you heard of that? Hygiene hypothesis is that you get so hung up on everything being chakachak and sterilized, okay? You live in such a sterilized environment, and that you actually miss out on the whole diversity of friendly gut bacteria. So countries like UK, US, Australia, Singapore, they all suffer from this thing, the fact that they no longer have the diverse societies of friendly bacteria within them, and then that is what seems to cause not just allergies, infections and intolerances, but also things like IBS, some cancers, and these autoimmune diseases. So what's the solution for this? I mean, one of the solutions they're saying is, because you know, I attended like convention, and this was in UK, and there was a pediatrician talking, and he said, we have to allow our kids, the Brit kids, to be more like African kids. And I was thinking, what is he really saying? Okay. And then what he meant by that is that we should allow other people to hold our children. We should let, if our child is eating something and it falls on the floor, we should let them pick it up and eat it. So just those simple things. So basically what Indian people have to do is be more Indian. And we will be in a safe place where we are not getting all of these allergies, intolerances, or autoimmune diseases. Like right now, before the talk, I went to use the washroom, and the minute you open it, it has a college washroom ka smell, and which is a very unique smell. Kaun se bhi college mein se aao, smell to same hi hai. And on the one hand, you may think that it's a terrible thing, that it should possibly be more sterilized. But on the other hand, if it's only this much and not like worse than this, then it's actually not a bad thing at all. It could actually be teaching your body to fight many things that it will otherwise need drugs and technology to fight. So one of the ways out of this is to go back to eating again in our more native, diverse ways. And if you've heard of things like, if you're from North India, Kali Gajar ki kanji, or rice ka kanji, achar jo hum log dalte the, you know, which was like rich, it would go through a process called lactofermentation and give you all the kind of good bacteria. Dahi, chas, usar, misar, these are all good ways to ensure that you have a thriving, flourishing, healthy bacteria within your system, and that you don't fall prey to any of these autoimmune diseases. Okay? Thank you so much for listening. Thanks.
From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you, Rujita ma'am, for this witty and full of wisdom, power-packed talk. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough for this. And please give her a huge round of applause, because to her and her team, because she has been very patient with us. Her team has been very patient with us. And we keep sending them mails and bugging them, but they have always replied to us. And thank you so much, ma'am. And now I would like to call upon Professor A.K. Suresh, Deputy Director of Academic and Infrastructural Affairs, to extend our thanks and seal our association with Rujita ma'am with the Tulsi plant. Please give them a huge round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. With this, we come to the end of this session. Our deepest gratitude to Rujita ma'am, and IIT Bombay hopes to have a lifetime association with you. Last but not the least, I thank everyone to sit here patiently and making it a success. I wish everyone happy eating and happy living. Stay tuned to Yogastra for more updates and interesting sessions like this. I would request you all to move towards the exit door. Refreshments are waiting for you outside. Good night, everyone.